Everyone, can you please unmute? Yeah. Can you put your hand at your chest? Please say, hello, Venerable Sir.
Hello, Venerable
Venerable Sir.
Nice, hello everybody.
Venerable Sir.
I have a meeting and teaching in Czech language right before this class, so it is definitely possible that sometimes I get late when the participants, when the students, when they ask me very important, urgent question right as I say, see you next time, then that's the way how I can get late sometimes. And let's get into it. So let's sit in a comfortable meditation posture. Make sure your back is erect, side cast down. It seems that Taolin will have to adjust her camera. Rather than using a blanket, it's good if you can use pants. Taolin, gone. That definitely is not the solution. Okay. So everybody make sure you have pants for our class, because it's like when you go to yoga or when you go to gym, you need to have proper clothing. In the same way, when you go to a monastery or when you meet with a monk, it is very suitable to have proper clothing. So I would like to ask Taolin to always have pants and avoid using blanket, because when you have pants, then I can check your posture and help you assume correct posture if it's not correct. So for example, now I can see that Leung Min Duan is assuming wrong posture. You see, if I didn't see his video, then I would not be able to help him to sit in a proper posture, right? So, Leung Min Tuan, it seems that you're squeezing one of your feet. You should not be squeezing it. You only, yes, either you're squeezing yet another foot. So instead of squeezing your foot, yes, that's right. You just place it gently between the calf and the thigh. Okay, now that's fine. And I do not see how that is actually sitting. Maybe you can sit a little further from the camera. Do you think it's possible? That can you hear me? That is the lady in the white shirt and the gray pants. I'm not sure if you can hear me. That T-H-E-T. That. Might be frozen. Not frozen. That, can you hear me? Yes, nice. We are now connected. So, can you please sit a little further from the camera? Because I cannot see your legs enough to check it. That, can you sit further from the camera? That, I'm talking to you. Are you here with me? That, I'm talking to you. Yes. Yes. And I feel that this is not the correct posture. So, can you place one of your feet between your thigh and the calf? Yes. Yes. I cannot. Yes, that's right. I'm talking to you. Your name is properly pronounced as Te. It means life. It's a Burmese name. Te. So if I call you Te, you hopefully will hear from now on. Yes, I'm talking to you. That's right. So can you sit a little further from the camera and maybe it seems that you have some kind of like blanket in front of you, so I cannot see your legs and I cannot hear you at all, whatever you're saying. Yes, that's a little better, but I still cannot see your feet. So I need to see your legs to make sure that you're sitting in a proper posture. Okay, yes, this definitely will be clear. It's pretty good. And now I see that your posture is wrong. All right. So you need to keep one of your feet on the thigh and the calf. All right. So look at that foot here, thigh, calf, and you just place it between the thigh and the calf. See if you can do that. Okay, that's good. Nice. You did it. So now, as we are sitting in a comfortable meditation posture, make sure your back is erect, side cast down. Luong Min Tuan. Please keep the other device as far as possible. If you can turn it off, it's even better. And make sure your back is erect. We will erect the back, keep one hand on the other, connect the thumbs, keep that in the lap. And we can make the first determination in our minds voicelessly. From now on, for 10 minutes, I will meditate on muscles and radiate loving kindness without any movement. From now on, for 10 minutes, I will meditate on muscles and radiate loving kindness without any movement. From now on, for 10 minutes, I will meditate on muscles and radiate loving kindness without any movement. And with that determination, we can gently, lovingly notice the flat piece of flesh at the top of the head. We allow it to be heavy and changing. We continue to the forehead, eyes, nose, lips, chin, cheeks, ears, back of the head, we allow all of the muscles and flesh throughout the head to be heavy and changing. We continue to the neck, shoulders, arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, palms, fingers, tips of fingers, chest, abdomen, back, we allow all of the muscles and flesh throughout the upper part of the body to be heavy and changing. We continue to the buttocks, thighs, knees, calves, heels, soles, toes, tips of toes, we allow all of the muscles and flesh throughout the body to be heavy and changing. And we allow all of the parts of the body to be changing. And as we give freedom to the body to be the way it is, we ourselves achieve freedom from worry about the body. Let's enjoy this peace. Now we can share our peace with other living beings. May all beings, including me, be in peace. May all beings, including me, be in peace. Now, because the time for this sitting is finished, let's make the last determination in our minds voicelessly. From now on, I will always be calm. From now on, I will always be calm. From now on, I will always be calm. And with that determination, we can slowly, mindfully change the way of our sitting. And we can take one more minute to enjoy the peace we gained in meditation. Alright. So, okay, so let's move on to the recitation. I would like to ask everybody to unmute. So you can keep your hands together at the chest and we can start. Yamahang vadami tang vadeta.
Amabante.
Aham bhante
Bante.
visaranena saha
Tisarane.
panchasilang
Panchasila.
dhammang yajami
Tamanya.
anuggaham katva
Anugam kata.
silang detha me bhante
Silang.
anukampang upadaya
Anukampam. Badaya.
dutiyampi aham bhante
Dutiyambi ambandi.
visaranena saha
Tisarane.
panchasilang dhammang yajami
Panchasila.
anuggaham katva
Anugam kata.
silang detha me bhante
Silang.
anukampang upadaya
Anukampam. Badaya.
tatiyampi aham bhante
Tatiyambi ambandi.
visaranena saha
Tisarane.
panchasilang dhammang yajami
Panchasila. Yajami.
anuggaham katva
Anugam.
silang detha me bhante
Silang. Ambandi.
anukampang upadaya
Anukampam. Badaya.
namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa
Namo tassa bhagavato sama sambuddhassa.
namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa
Namo tassa bhagavato sambuddhassa.
namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa
Namo tassa bhagavato sambuddhassa.
buddhang saranang gacchami dhammang saranang gacchami sanghang saranang gacchami
Buddham saranam gacchami, dhammam saranam gacchami, sangham saranam gacchami.
Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami
Dutiyampi buddham saranam gacchami, dutiyampi dhammam saranam gacchami, dutiyampi sangham saranam gacchami.
tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami
Tatyami buddham saranam gacchami, tatyami dhammam saranam gacchami, tatyami sangham saranam gacchami.
Okay. You may like to know that Dutiyampi is for the second time, Tatiyampi is for the third time. So as you're reciting Tatiyampi, if you sometimes say Dutiyampi, it's actually not true. So make sure that you always maintain the correct number. Saranagamanang paripunnang
Amabante.
panatipata
Panatipada.
veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
So this precept means I follow the precept of refraining from killing living beings. Not only that we don't kill, but we also cherish life and health of all other beings. Adinadana
Adinadana.
Veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
So this means I follow the precept of refraining from stealing. Not only that we don't steal, but we also cherish and protect other people's possession and wealth. Kame sumicchācara
Kamisammiccācharam
Veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
So this precept means I follow the rule of refraining from sexual misconduct. We do not engage in sexual intercourse with someone who is not our wife or husband when we are married, and we never engage in a sexual intercourse with someone who has a different spouse than us. Musavada Veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
So this means I follow the rule of refraining from telling lies. Not only that we don't tell lies, but we also cherish and promote the truth. Sura meraya majjapamadatthana. Veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
So this means I follow the rule of refraining from drinking alcohol and taking drugs. So not only that we don't drink alcohol and we don't drink drugs, but we maintain and practice mindfulness. Now I will encourage you everybody to follow the 5 precepts and protect the 3 refuges very well and maintain and make effort mindfully. And then you can reply, yes, Venerable Sir, Amabhante, if you agree with that. Tisaranena sadhing panchasilang dhammang sadhukang surakhidang katva appamadena sampadetham.
Amabhante.
May you be happy, may you be healthy, may you soon attain the eternal bliss of Nibbana. Very well, thank you. So the system will be now that we first have meditation, then refuges and precepts, then I will be asking you questions, then we will go through your homework, and then if there is something new, that should come as number 5. But as you know me, anytime this can change, okay? But for the time being, let's keep this as the main schedule. So now let's move on to your questions, or to my questions for you. What or how many days out of the last 7 did you meditate? Okay, that looks promising. All right. So I see that you definitely meditate. You definitely meditate, but you can do more. All right, you definitely can do more. I'm happy that you meditate at least those 3 to 4 days. Many of you meditate also more than that. But I believe that you can do more, you know. Like 10 out of the 11 students here meditated at least 3 days the last week. So just one student didn't make it 3 times. But I think you can do a little bit more, and there you go. And there you have your 7 days. So I think we have pretty good result. And this is how it should be already in the beginning, okay? So that's where you start, and then we develop it from this level. So I'm happy that we are now at the beginner level, and we can now move on to an advanced level where all of you meditate every day. Okay, so see if you can do that. The way to do this is gradual. Every week you add 1. So those of you who meditated 1 or 2 times, add 1 time. Those of you who meditated 3 times, add 1 time, so you meditate 4 times this week. Those of you who meditated 4 days or 4 times, add 1, so you meditate 5 times. And those of you who meditated 5 times, add 1, so you meditate 6. And in the end, when you get to the level of 6, well, then you just need to add 1 and there you go. Those of you who meditated 6 times can just add 1 more and there you have it. Meditating every day. Our meditation together counts, all right? Always remember that our meditation together counts. And it restarts in the beginning of our class, all right? So the meditation that we do together is your first meditation into the week. That's your first meditation of the week. And then as you meditate every day, you just add up to the basis. That's the meditation we did together. All right, so I would like to ask you, when did you do your homework? Okay, so that's definitely variegated, diverse, but most of you did it on the last moment. But it's better than it was in the beginning, right? In the beginning we had like 0 people doing it on the same day, 0 people doing it 3 days later. We had only people who did it 4 or more days later. So we definitely have some progress. About 30% out of you did their homework well in advance. That's the progress, but that's not the goal. So we want to get a little bit better. See if you can do your homework 1 day earlier than you did this time. Okay? Instead of doing it on your, on your Saturday or your Friday, see if you can do it just 1 day earlier, like Thursday. Or what about Wednesday? You know, the weekend is the best time for you to do your homework. Then you get weekdays and you have school. How do you want to do homework for school and also for this class? That's difficult. So ideally, you do it right today. Okay, see if you can do your homework right today, latest tomorrow. So, Lương Minh Tuan, when would you like to do your homework?
Probably tomorrow.
Tomorrow at what time?
5 p.m.
5 p.m. Where will you do it?
Huh?
Where will you do it?
At home.
Where at home?
Probably where I usually do my homework from school.
So that's your living room or your separate room, or where is it? In the kitchen?
Living room.
In the living room. Okay, nice. Will you remember that it's at 5, or would it be better for you to set up your alarm clock?
I can remember it.
Okay, if you don't remember this time, next week you will have to set up the alarm clock, okay?
Yep.
Diklam. When would you like to do your homework? That's a question. Please, everybody, prepare your question. Prepare your answer, okay? So we don't need to wait. Yeah, Diklam. Well, you have only 2 options, right? It's today or tomorrow. So which of the 2 options is more comfortable for you?
Maybe tomorrow.
Maybe tomorrow. Needs to be sure. Is tomorrow better than today, or is today better than tomorrow?
I think it's tomorrow better because it's so late, so we need to sleep and have energy to do our homework.
Well, I totally didn't understand what you're saying. Please come closer to the camera and tell me, is tomorrow better than today or today better than tomorrow?
I think tomorrow is better.
Tomorrow is better, nice. At what time would you do it tomorrow?
I think it will be like 8 o'clock or something.
8 p.m. or 8 a.m.?
I think 8 p.m. Yeah.
8 p.m. Will you remember it, or is it better to set up alarm clock?
I think it's better to set up a alarm clock.
Okay, I'm waiting for you.
I think I will set up the clocks so I can know it. I can always forgot the tab.
Yeah. So I'm waiting for you to set up the alarm clock, and
Yes.
until you say I'm ready.
Okay.
Ready? Set up?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Dream Mo Kanban. So, will you do your homework tomorrow or today?
Tomorrow,
Tomorrow, nice. At what time?
I think, like 9 p.m.
9 p.m. And where?
in my room.
In your room. And would you like to set up an alarm clock, or will you remember?
I think I will remember.
You'll remember. Okay. Thank you, Ch6. Will you do your homework today or tomorrow?
I'll try to do it in the next day, tomorrow,
Tomorrow. At what time?
about in the morning, 10 in the morning.
10 a.m. And where?
Can you repeat?
Where will you do your homework?
In my room.
In your room. So, will you remember it, or will you set up your alarm clock?
I already have an alarm, so I will remind myself when it rings.
Nice, thank you. I don't know how to read your name. Tung Chi, right? So, will you do your homework today or tomorrow?
I think tomorrow.
At what time?
At 9 a.m.
Nice. Where?
I think at a pagoda.
At a pagoda. You have a pagoda in your home or outside?
No, outside, because tomorrow I have a schedule to go there.
Okay. So, will you set up an alarm clock, or will you remember?
I can remember that.
Perfect. Thank you. Isabella?
I can do it at my house tomorrow, like
Okay.
probably in the afternoon.
At what time?
12 o'clock most likely.
So that's at noon, right? In midday.
Yeah,
And where?
at my house in my bedroom.
Okay. Will you set up your alarm clock, or will you remember?
I'll most likely remember it.
Okay, nice. Thank you. Jake?
Probably tomorrow at about maybe 3 p.m.
Mm-hmm. Where?
Probably at my house, in my living room.
Mm-hmm. Will you set up alarm clock, or will you?
I'll probably set an alarm clock.
Okay, I'm waiting for you.
I've set it.
Nice, thank you. Max, will you do your homework today or tomorrow?
I think I'll do it today as soon as we finish the class, and I can just do it.
Okay, we'll finish maybe 11:30. So, where will you do it?
In the UK right now it's 4:20, so I might do it 4:50.
Yeah, I mean, where will you do it?
In the kitchen probably.
In the kitchen. Okay. Nice. Thank you. Taolin?
Yes, Venerable Sir.
Mm-hmm. It's good if you always have some extra clothes, so that if your clothes get wet, you can change. All right, especially as a lady, it's totally normal to have extra clothes. And if you get ill, then that's pretty bad, right? So make sure that you always have some extra clothes. And you're young, so health is of utmost importance for you. So when would you like to do your homework? Today or tomorrow?
Tomorrow. Because I have a class, but can I do my homework at 8 p.m. because I have a class tomorrow.
Super. If you can do it tomorrow 8 p.m. You would not be the first here. There is someone else also who's doing it at 8 p.m. So where will you do it?
I do it in my room.
In your room. Will you remember it, or will you set up an alarm clock?
I can hear.
Will you set up an alarm clock, or will you remember it?
I remember it.
You will remember it. Okay, thank you. Timo, would you like to do your homework today or tomorrow?
Tomorrow at 9 p.m.
9 p.m., okay. Are you fresh and full of energy at 9 p.m.?
Yeah.
Okay. You're definitely not fresh and full of energy now. So where will you do it?
My bedroom.
Okay. Will you set up an alarm clock for that, or will you remember it?
I could set up a time alarm.
Okay, I'm waiting for you.
I did it.
Okay, done. Thank you. Tanmo, would you like to do your homework today or tomorrow?
I think I'll do it at about 8 or 9 p.m. tomorrow.
Okay. You need to decide, 8 or 9?
8:30.
8:30, okay, 8:30. Will you remember it, or will you set up an alarm clock?
I think I'll probably remember it.
Well, if you don't remember this week, then next week you need to set up an alarm clock. And where will you do it?
I think I'll do it in my bedroom.
In your bedroom, nice. Thank you very much. So it seems we are ready to do homework on time. And now I would like to ask, who will I ask? I'm waiting for Tutam.
Yes, I already sent you the message, Devante.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
So I would like to ask Leng Min Tuan and Taolin and Isabella to raise their Zoom hand. Nice. So let's start with Luang Min Tuan. Can you please read for us your homework?
It seems sleep provide time and provides energy for the brain to pick out the most salient information from the day's activities and consolidate that information into memory, discarding the rest. Some surveys suggest that anywhere between 30 and 50% of all adolescents and young adults consume energy drink. This figure will help explain the exponential rise in caffeine overdose being seen in hospital emergency room.
Interesting. Thank you very much. Isabella?
Page 99. Some surveys suggest that anywhere between 30 and 50% of all adolescents and young adults consume energy drinks. This figure perhaps explains the exponential rise in caffeine overdoses being seen in hospital emergency rooms. Page 102. Finally, try to avoid arguing with your teenagers before bed. They won't sleep well, and the chances are neither will you.
Okay. That's pretty practical and important. Thank you very much. Taolin?
Page 108. The instructions belong to the brain's pleasure center because they are responsible for releasing dopamine when a person contemplates or anticipates a reward. Eating food, obtaining money, taking drugs. Immediately an emotion, in other words, are linked in the decision to take a risk and in the teen's brain's inability to delay gratification.
What do you understand under gratification? What is it? Taolin? What is gratification? I don't think that the book explains it. Are you checking your some other dictionary or some dictionary? Yes. And what did you find?
I can find.
You can't find it?
Yes.
Sure, your spelling is right. gratification.
Sorry, Bente. I think it's right because I see in my book is GRI.
Yes, I think you wrote it correctly. Gratification. It's correct. You cannot find it in your dictionary?
I can find.
And what did you understand?
I think I don't understand.
You cannot understand even from the dictionary. Well, then you will need a different dictionary. Is that an English dictionary or English Vietnamese dictionary?
In English dictionary.
English dictionary, I see. You see, I say it all the time. English dictionary is not very useful. You need to use dictionary that translates to your language so that you are always sure that you understand. All right? So get a good English Vietnamese dictionary because that's what you need if you want to understand English words. Gratification is the way how you cause yourself pleasure. Gratification is making yourself happy. All right? And here it is meant by making yourself happy by sensual pleasures or getting a sensual pleasure, organizing something pleasant. So what's the meaning of this sentence is that it is possible if you but this was, what was this lecture about? What was this lecture about? Looks a little bit like about sleep, right? Was this lecture about sleeping? Or it was, what was the name of this lecture? What was the name of this chapter? Tutam.
Chapter 6, Devante. Chapter 6, Devante. Taking risks.
Taking risks. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, taking risks. So sleeping, sleeping enough, sleeping enough, eating healthy, having good relationships, having peace in your home, meditating, being successful at school, not being too much in stress. That helps your mind to be peaceful, to be powerful. And when your mind is peaceful and powerful, then you get your immediacy and correct emotions. And these immediacy, which means being fast and correct, all right? Being fast and correct is called immediacy. So as soon as there is a problem or as soon as there is danger, you can act fast and it's correct and it's helpful. All right? So for that, your mind needs to be fresh and sharp. You can achieve that by sufficient sleep, by healthy food, by correct relationships, by success in school and with your family and so on. So then your mind is fresh. When it is fresh, it can act fast and effectively. And also your emotions will be wise emotions. It will be the emotions of loving kindness, of compassion, of altruistic joy. So you rejoice when someone else is successful instead of jealousy. And also equanimity, understanding that things are the way they are. We cannot do much. We cannot do more than we can. All right? So, when you have immediacy, you're effective and fast in your correct solutions. When you have emotions, the correct emotions that help others, that do not harm, then you may also master delayed gratification. What is delayed gratification? This is based on an experiment with little kids, 3 years old kids, 3 years or 5 years old. These kids, one by one, were invited to a room where they had one marshmallow. And the researcher says, "Oh dear kid, you can eat the marshmallow, or you can wait 3 minutes, not eat the marshmallow, and you will get a second marshmallow. And then you can gobble them both." So then the researcher left, and they had a camera watching the kid. What will the kid do now? Will the kid eat the marshmallow, or will they not eat the marshmallow? Some kids didn't eat the marshmallow, so they got the second marshmallow. Some kids didn't care, just ate the marshmallow and go. Some kids took the marshmallow and like that, 3 minutes, a little bit of suffering. Some kids were like a little bit eating the marshmallow from like inside. So they eat the marshmallow but don't eat the marshmallow. Waiting 3 minutes is so hard, And one professor or somebody said, imagine it's like for adults when they want to get coffee and they have to wait 3 minutes for the coffee. Wait 3 minutes with the coffee, then you get the second one. No. So delayed gratification is when you delay, when you wait for the next, for a little later, so that you can get more pleasure than you get now. All right? So that's like you have to go to school, or you don't go to school, but instead you go to hang out with your friend. Which is better? Well, better is to go to school and then hang out with your friend much longer and with a lot of money and with peace later. Then going to school, hanging out with your friend, not having any money, not being peaceful, and having a lot of problems. So delayed gratification is when you wait for the later time to enjoy more than you would enjoy now. All right? And Buddhism is all about delayed gratification. In Buddhism, there is no success without delayed gratification. All Buddhist practice is about delayed gratification. All Buddhism is about waiting and postponing your pleasure for next time, and therefore getting 1,000 million times more pleasure than you would get now. So all Buddhism is entirely dependent on delayed gratification. So in Buddhism, rather than taking all money you have and enjoying sensual pleasures, you are encouraged to take the money, buy food, and donate it to virtuous people. Well, then you didn't get anything. No, you actually did. You got good deed. It's called merit. M-E-R-I-T. Merit. And this merit can bring you 100,000 times, or 100,000 times 100,000 times, or innumerably more benefit than that what you actually gave. So if you take substantial meal that you could eat yourself, but you don't eat it, you give it to an animal, then you're supposed to enjoy for the next 100 lives abundance of long life, beauty, pleasure, power, and intelligence. That's a big, how to say that? That's a pretty good revenue, you know? It's a good deal. It's a good deal giving one meal and getting millions of meals. And long life, you know, and pleasure and beauty and all that kind of thing. That's if you give it to an animal. Now, if you give it to an evil person, you get 1,000 lives filled with these benefits. If you get it to a virtuous person, you get 100,000 times. If you give it to somebody who's not a Buddhist, but they meditate very ardently, for example, a Muslim or Christian, they meditate, and they have achieved deep levels of concentration in their meditation. You get 100,000 times, 100,000 times that benefit. And if you give it to somebody who's working hard to become enlightened, which is, according to commentaries, all of the monks who live according to the rules, or moreover to somebody who's enlightened, wow, then that is innumerable. So that's delayed gratification at its lowest level. Think about the level of morality, all right? The morality when we do not kill, we don't steal, we don't commit adultery, we don't tell lies, we don't drink alcohol. Here, it's especially adultery. Look at that. Adultery is the number one thing about sensual pleasures. So then when the husband or wife, they fall in love with another woman, okay? Or with another man, of course, if it's a woman. Actually, it has been found that about 50% of men and 50 out of all of the adulterers in the world, all of the cheaters in the world, 50%, about 50% are men and about 50% are women. So it's not like that just the men are bad, okay? So it's the same thing. So equally, you need to be careful. Now, the ladies or the men who then have sex with someone who's not their who's not their husband or wife after they're married, then that's bad. That's not delayed gratification. All right, that's a hastened suffering. Hastened suffering. Instead, if they wait and they are faithful to their spouse, regardless what their spouse is doing, well then, in their next life or even in this life, there is a higher probability that their spouse will be faithful. And if they are not faithful, doesn't matter. Probably it's because this one was not faithful in a past life. So you don't want to do it again. You don't want to cheat again so that again you will get a spouse who is not faithful to you in this life and in the next life. So delayed gratification is of utmost importance in Buddhism. It's the ultimate core of all Buddhist practice. And then after you delay your gratification, you delay it until the moment of your death. When you die, you're supposed to be born in heaven, where you can enjoy the sensual pleasures not for 50 years, not for 100 years, not for 200 years or 500 years or 1,000 years or 10,000 years. You can enjoy the sensual pleasures continuously for hundreds and hundreds of thousands of years, or for millions or billions of years. And that's definitely a good deal. That's definitely better than 2 marshmallows. Okay? So now you're having 1 marshmallow. What shall you do? All right? Always think about it like that. Any question? Anybody would like to tell me or ask me anything? Nothing, so I will read for you my note. We still have a lot of reading, right? Still have a lot of reading. I think we'll finish this book maybe after 3 months. Let's see. There's so much more that I would like to tell you and teach you in addition to this book. So let's see. The sooner we can get it, the better. Taking risks. The chief predictor of adolescent behavior, studies show, is not the perception of risk, but the anticipation of the reward despite the risk. So when you do something as teenagers, you are more thinking about the reward. You're not thinking about the problems. So there's this saying, no risk, no fun. And that's a huge problem, because this is no risk about your life. If you fail, well, then you're dead. It's too late. You cannot do anything about that. So this is not a clever saying, no risk, no fun. All right? I'd say no wisdom, no life. No wisdom, no life is actually much more accurate rather than no risk, no fun. No wisdom, no fun. That's the true one. Okay? No wit, no fun. And second, Stamulis, which is probably a name of a researcher, found that social isolation for girls and the lack of extracurricular activities for boys increased risk-taking behavior. In other words, socializing with friends or playing team sports appeared to have protective value in keeping teens out of risk-taking trouble. Yeah, this was an interesting thing with the Milton Academy, but this would require a little bit of research on your side. Now, the problem is that if you have bad friends, that's also bad. So not only that you need to engage yourself in extracurricular activities, but you also need to engage in those activities with wise people, not with fools. You know, when I studied at a Catholic high school, I was enough fortunate to meet an African gentleman. His parents were probably Czech, but they lived in Africa. Then he was born to them in Africa, in South Africa. And then they returned to, or maybe one of his parents was probably South Africa. I'm not sure. So they returned to the Czech Republic, and he started to study at our school. He started to study at a little later year, not from the beginning. The Catholic high school has 8 years. It's an 8 years study. And it finishes by the leaving school exam, you know, the A-levels, which then gets you to a university. And this gentleman did engage in extracurricular activity, but that was not a good activity. It was smoking marijuana, smoking cannabis, or weed. And so he was engaging in extracurricular activities, namely smoking weed. And then gradually his grades were worse and worse and worse and worse, and then he lost. So he left the school. And he had pretty bad memory. His extracurricular activity definitely did not help him. So extracurricular activity is needed. You need to engage in some going to play football or hockey or tennis or ice hockey, or if you want to do ballet or play some instruments or singing in choir, right? Singing in choir, and whatever you want to do is fine, but make sure that you have their wise people, that you don't have their fools who will encourage you to take drugs or drink alcohol or tell lies or steal. All right, so tobacco. That's the next homework. Any questions? Anything you don't agree with? Anything that's not clear? Nice. It was a pleasure to see everybody. May you be happy, may you be healthy, and may you soon attain the eternal bliss of Nibbana.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you very much, Bhante. Anyone, could you please unmute? Yes, can you please put your hand at your chest? Please say goodbye, Venerable Sir.
Goodbye,
Venerable Sir.
Goodbye, everyone.